How many times have you said to yourself phrases like, "I've already invested too much time in this to stop now," or "I've already spent so much money on this project I can't just give up"? The herd repeats these phrases as if they were mantras of perseverance. The 10th wolf hears them as death sentences. They lied to you about what resilience is. They confused persistence with blind stubbornness. Modern society taught you that quitting is a sign of weakness, a stain on your winner's resume. But good sense says otherwise. Insisting on a mistake just because the mistake was expensive is the purest form of intellectual self-flagellation. The herd calls this loyalty or commitment. The wolf calls it by its real name, the sunk cost fallacy. It is a powerful mental trap that makes you throw good money away and waste precious lifetime on lost causes. Imagine you are at the cinema. The movie is horrible. You hate every second of it. But you stay there, sitting, suffering until the end credits. Why? Because you are a victim of common thinking. You justify it by thinking, "I need to stay until the end because I paid for the ticket." Understand the distorted logic of the situation. The ticket money is already gone. It will not come back if you stay there for 2 more hours. By deciding to stay, you aren't saving your money. You are simply wasting your most precious resource, your time. The herd spends decades in degrees they hate, in failed marriages, and in business models that bleed cash, just because they don't want the past effort to have been in vain. They are tied to ghosts. What you invested yesterday is nothing more than a footnote in your life. What matters is what you invest from this moment on. If the path is wrong, it doesn't matter how far you've walked. The only logical decision is to stop. But it is vital not to confuse the courage to cut something with the cowardice of fleeing from something. This is where the herd gets confused, and where gurus sell you cheap resilience. The rule is simple, but it demands brutal honesty. Are you quitting because the path is difficult, or because the destination no longer makes sense? Cowardice focuses on the process. You flee because you're tired, because it hurts, because boredom set in, or because you're afraid to fail. You still want the result, but you don't want to pay the price. That is weakness. The 10th wolf embraces the pain of the process if the target is real. The courage to cut focuses on the result. You quit because you realize that even if you reach the top of that mountain, the view from there is a desert. Because you discovered the target was a mirage. To keep climbing a mountain that leads nowhere isn't resilience. It's a waste of time. The coward quits to avoid effort. The wolf quits to avoid waste. If the logic that made you start is still true, but you want to stop because it's hard, keep marching. But if the logic has crumbled, if the scenario has changed, and the prize has lost its value, cut the cable immediately. Do not confuse loyalty to a mistake with strength of character. How does the 10th wolf evaluate the terrain? He doesn't look at the scars of the past to decide the future. He uses the zero-cost filter. Ask yourself this question right now about that project or relationship that is consuming you. If I weren't in this today, would I enter it now, knowing what I already know? If you weren't in that job today, would you accept the position now? If you didn't know that person and met them today, would you start that story all over again? If the answer is no, then every second you remain is a second stolen from your true potential. The ego wants to save face and avoid judgment. The wolf wants to save his life. Good sense demands surgical detachment. If it doesn't serve who you are today, it is debris. Everyday examples of people failing to free themselves are everywhere. But there are ways out. In finance, this is constant. Investors often can't let go of a bad investment, hoping for a miracle to recover the loss. Don't be fooled. If the reason you made the investment is gone, get out. The market has no memory of your loss, and the cost of being tied to a dead asset is what will truly break you. In career, the feeling is the same. If your project doesn't scale and only consumes your mental health, kill it. The no you say to a mistake is the yes that clears space for your definitive edge. In social life, it works the same way. Simply stop going to events or maintaining friendships that no longer make sense just out of, quote, consideration for history. Past time does not justify wasting the present. Real freedom is born the moment you accept the loss has already happened. Profit begins the minute you stop bleeding. What is the corpse you are carrying on your back today just because you invested so much in it? A course? A position? A promise that has expired? Let go of the weight. Apply good sense. The 10th wolf isn't afraid to start from zero because he knows that zero is a much better place than the negative. Mark your position. Leave a like if you have the courage to quit what is wrong, to focus on what is right. Subscribe and activate your edge. Comment below. What will you abandon today to finally move forward? The past is a teacher, not an anchor. I am the 10th wolf. Welcome to reality.